Welcome to the Cop Shop Podcast, our weekly compilation of police report oddities and curiosities. With host, Telegraph reporter Joe Kovac Jr. The sheriff's report plays out like the plot of a neo-noir thriller, or at least the beginnings of one, and this one starts at a budget motel off Interstate 475 in West Macon. Sometime in the night on March 7th, a 62-year-old Lizella man who had a room there at the Bridgeview Inn and Suites off Eisenhower Parkway asked a female friend to do him a favor. According to the Bibb County Sheriff's report, the man had $40,000 cash in his room and he needed somebody to keep an eye on it. So he asked the friend, a 32-year-old Macon woman, to, as the report puts it, watch over the cash while, quote, he went out gambling, among other things, well into the pre-dawn hours of March 8th. It wasn't clear why the guy had so much money in his room, but the report said he had known the woman for about half a decade and, quote, trusted her a lot. So he left the woman to watch over his money and went out. Early the next morning, another woman at the motel called the guy and informed him that the woman he had left the cash with was gone. And so was the cash. The second woman, 47, said that shortly after midnight, the woman who was keeping an eye on the money told her that she was, quote, getting the money and was moving to another hotel. Then off she went with the cash, which the report noted was stashed in a gold suitcase with flowers on it. The woman and the money were nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, the man who was out $40,000 signed a statement about the theft and said he wanted to prosecute. It wasn't clear whether the cash ever turned up. A Bibb Sheriff's deputy on patrol about 3:30 a.m. was sent to a gas mart on Shirling Drive. A deputy from neighboring Jones County had a woman in the back of his cruiser who needed help getting her purse from her boyfriend's house in northeast Macon. She also needed to retrieve something else. The rest of her clothes. All she had on was a white t-shirt. On the way to the boyfriend's house off New Clinton Road, the woman, 29, explained why. According to the Bibb deputy's report, the woman said she had been at the guy's house on Northmore Drive in the small hours of March 4th, when the guy's ex-girlfriend, 32, showed up, quote, kicking on the door and firing shots from a gun. The 29-year-old woman ran to a nearby store where she saw the Jones Sheriff's deputy and asked for help. Later at the boyfriend's place, the ex-girlfriend was outside. The Bibb deputy knocked on the door, and inside he heard the boyfriend, 30, yelling, "She shot me!" After the ex-girlfriend was handcuffed, the man opened his front door. The report said the guy said he had a hunch that his ex might show up. So to keep her out, he said he slid a washing machine against his back door, and sure enough, as she forced her way inside, the report added, she grabbed a jug of bleach and threw it at the man. She then ran in with a revolver threatening to kill the other woman. That's according to the report. But the 29-year-old had already fled to the store, so she was gone and the man was left behind. He said the ex then grabbed a bottle of Jose Cuervo liquor and threw it at him while he was in the kitchen and came at him with a gun. He said he grabbed the gun in a tussle and took it away from her. He then locked the woman outside and she was later jailed on an aggravated assault charge. And now from our dispatches files. The bleeding man's explanation for what happened to him in the pre-dawn hours of March 6th got right to the point. She kept me up all night and then stabbed me, the man, 55, told the Bibb Sheriff's deputy. The guy said he'd been lying in bed at a house on New Clinton Road in East Macon when he was attacked. At the scene of a shoplifting at the Piggly Wiggly on Rocky Creek Road in South Macon the morning of March 11th, the suspect was, quote, very combative, the sheriff's report said. The suspect, a 59-year-old Warner Robins man, was being held down by the store's manager when a deputy arrived. The alleged shoplifter later admitted stealing food because, as the report put it, he was hungry and apparently in the mood for bacon. There were 7 packs of it crammed in his jacket. About 2 o'clock in the morning on March 13th, a woman on Jackson Street in Macon called the police to report that a woman, 61, who lives near her had kicked in her front door. A sheriff's deputy asked the 61-year-old why she did that. Because, she replied, the other woman told her to, quote, "get out of my face." When the suspect began cussing and screaming and wouldn't calm down, she was arrested for disorderly conduct. Then on the way to the county lockup, the deputy's write-up said she, quote, "constantly was saying thank you for taking her to jail."